Hi, it's Theresa Puckett, your bridge to greater consciousness, coming to you with another episode of First Line Secrets, source code from the universe. And today I'm going to talk a bit about human design. There are going to be two parts to this video. One is for those of you who have not yet heard of human design or don't know very much about it at all. Maybe you've heard the words human design, but you don't really know what that means, what that entails. And then the other piece is going to be for everyone, no matter what your level of experience is with human design. So, human design, what is that? It's analogous to your horoscope. Okay, so with your horoscope, you need to give somebody your birth month and day. So, but with human design, there's much, much, much more to it. It's like it's a synthesis of lots of different forms, and I'm not going to get into the origin of human design. That's something you can Google. It's really cool, but it's real. It's effectively like your energetic anatomy. And yes, we're all humans. We're all here. We all have hearts and ribs and all the parts and pieces, but energetically, we are not all the same. We are not. We, um, in our world today, it's um, there's a heavy focus on the material, the physical, and not so much focus on the energetic. And that is totally backwards. It's changing, but it's totally backwards because if you look at an atom, and we know we're all made up of atoms, every single thing that we see is made up of atoms. Every atom has as 99.99999% of an atom is empty space. Wow! It's empty space. And it's not really empty space because the electrons are moving so super fast. It's like a cloud of energy. But what I'm saying is that way more than even 99% of everything is energy instead of mass. And it just doesn't seem that way because of the physics of the electrons. So back to energetic anatomy, we're not all energetically the same. And human design can get very, very detailed, just like anything, just like the study of our bodies can get super, super detailed. You can specialize and all of this. We're going to look at sort of the equivalent, if we're talking about our bodies, I'm going to share with you the equivalent of, hey, what's the best way for you to feed yourself, for you to rest yourself, to recover from every day, and the best way to move your body. Those answers are not the same for all of us. Okay, we sometimes we think they are, but they're actually not. But those are the biggest things that it makes sense for you to understand about your own physical form. And so for your energetic form, for your human design, those things are not three things. I'm going to focus on two. I might do another video about another one, which is also really pretty cool, but it'll be too much today. The first one is your energy type. Okay, there are four different energy types, but one of them, only 1% of people, so one person in 100 has that one. So I'm not going to do too much talking about that one. I'm going to tell you what the three types are, and I'm not going to try to teach you everything about the types. I'm going to give you a little bit, and then you're going to be able to easily go to YouTube or go to Google and put in a search for the different types. I will, in the description, give you, there's also a lot of sites where you can type in your birth date, the specific day with year, and your birth time and your birthplace. You can type those in, and for free, you will get your entire human design, and it can be very intimidating to look at. I'm going to advise you, don't really look at the design and get spooked or go down the rabbit hole, which is just as bad. Look and see what's your energy type, and then do some Googling. So roughly 70% of people, so 7 people out of 10 are going to be generators. I'm a generator. There's 2 kinds of generators, so it's almost half and half. There's a manifesting generator and there's a pure generator. So I'm a pure generator. And if you are a generator of either kind, then what is true for you is that when you are doing work that is a great fit for you, you have a lot of energy. You have a lot of energy, and you might not even, it might not even register for you that you have a lot of energy. Mm. Because that's always how it's been for you. And so it's just like breathing for you. You just have a lot of energy. But if you compare yourself to some other people that you've known throughout your life, you kind of know that you have a lot of energy. If you're working on things that you love, if you're working in a job that you hate, that's a recipe for burnout as a generator, big time burnout. And it's kind of a thing nowadays, right? There's a lot of us, and there's a lot of people who are not working at in roles that light them up. We'll just say that. So that's all I'm going to say right now about generators. Projectors, that is like 2 out of every 10 people, roughly. Um, Projectors. I love the AI. Projectors are very penetrating. They can really get to the root of things, and it can feel energetically, it can feel invasive if a projector tells you something or gives you some advice that you didn't ask them for, because they are so energetically insightful in a way, and they can really get to the root of things, especially with one person in front of them. So, so projectors need a little bit more rest on average than generators, sort of throughout the day and things like that. Manifestors are about 1 in 10, and I know that that already makes 10 out of 10. But remember, I told you there's something called a reflector that is only 1% of people, and I am not. I'm not going to go into reflector, but if you are one, if you get that, then you want to Google that and check that out. So manifestors are here to really impact. I mean, we're all here to have some kind of impact. We all will have impact, but manifestors are really here to impact the collective. And in order to do that, they have an energy, sort of an energetic aura of their own that protects them a bit from outside influence or from I'm gonna compare and contrast. So a generator, I'm a generator. I have an open, inviting aura as a generator, and I'm here to respond to things, to people, just to respond. And so how do I respond? Well, I have an open aura, and so people come to me, people talk to me, I receive things and I respond to them. So it's the opposite in a way with manifestors, because with manifestors, they have more of a closed aura that protects them from that. I mean, for a manifestor, kind of like an invasion. That's not really the right word. I don't know what word I'm trying to think of, but it protects them from someone coming right on in. And I will never forget my first encounter with a person, a future friend of mine that I knew was a manifestor. I was meeting her for coffee, and we had been on Zoom together, and she was great. We had so much in common, it seemed like. And then I asked her for her birth details, and I, found out she was a manifester. And we met for a coffee. We each had to drive about an hour or something. This was, I don't know what year, maybe 2021. And I will never forget being like, I saw her, I knew who she was. I saw her in line, and there was something weird. There was really something weird. It wasn't like, hey, how are you? It's so great to meet in person. It was like I had to overcome an energetic something before I approached her. And it was that manifestor closed aura. It was amazing to feel it. So those are the types. Oh, I just want to remind you, if you are liking this video, please give it a thumbs up down below. And if you're not already a subscriber, but you are enjoying the content that I'm putting out here, that First Line Secrets is offering, please subscribe to the channel. We are looking to have a big impact on the consciousness and increasing the consciousness on the planet. And you are helping us do just that. Okay, getting back to it. The other thing I want to share with you is, in human design lingo, it's called the authority. And authority is really important because it is all about how you are energetically wired to make important decisions. Okay, so that's what authority is. And there are, I think there are 7 different kinds of authority. But the good news is that more than 90%, like 95 or so percent of people have one of 3 authorities. So those are the only ones I'm going to talk about. If you have a different one, again, Google it and find out a little more. It would be good to go down a little ways down the rabbit hole of your authority so you understand it. It's very important. Because remember, like your body, you don't have to know about all the names of all the muscles and all the bones and all of the details of every part of your body and all of your organs, if you're taking care of how to feed yourself the right way, how to rest yourself the right way, and how to move yourself the right way. Those are the only 3 things you really need to worry about. And then if there's anything else, you call a specialist, right? Okay. So with human design, it's your type. And with your type comes a strategy. I mentioned for generators, the strategy is to respond. If you're a generator, Google that and find out more. For projectors, I didn't mention it exactly. For projectors, the strategy is to wait to be invited. Wait for an invitation. Remember, I said, if you got unsolicited advice from a projector, it's going to feel invasive. It's going to feel bad. That's why projectors need to wait for an invitation. And for manifestors, it is to inform the people around you. It's a neutral kind of communication, but in order to not be like a bowling ball, and for other people around you to feel like you're crashing around, it's good for manifestors who have this energy to inform people, to inform the generators, projectors, other manifestors, and of course, reflectors around them about what they're going to do before they do it. It's not asking for permission, it's informing. Okay, so we're going to step aside from energy types and the strategies that go along with those. And we'll move into the second of 2 things that it's important to know about your human design is your authority. So there are 3. 1 out of every 2 people will have emotional authority. So again, if you have it, you're going to go a little deeper with it. But for emotional authority, there's one very important, easy thing to remember is that you're not designed to make very important decisions in the moment quickly. You're designed to wait until the energy settles. And that could be, depending on the decision, That could be an hour. That could be 24 hours. That could be longer. It depends on you and the decision. If it's a huge life decision, you're going to wait until you feel calm about it. You're not anxious and you're not super high, crazy excited. You're going to wait until it calms, because emotional authority means that you always have an emotional wave going on and you want to wait until that settles out. And that's when you can make your decision, and you know what your decision should be. It's not even 100%, but maybe it's 60 to 80%. And that's what you go with. Okay. The next most common one is sacral authority, and that happens to be mine. I think it's somewhere around, I don't know, 30% or so. So like 3 out of 10 people have sacral authority. And the thing for sacral authority is that you do have the ability and you're wired to make decisions in the moment. But it's very helpful if the decisions are made, or that the questions are asked really in that closed question. It's like, so a yes, no, not what do you feel like doing, but do you want to go to the movies tonight? How about pizza for dinner? No. Or, uh-huh, sounds great. So that's one thing to know about sacral. So yeah, it sounds great. You can make decisions in the moment. Your body knows, in the moment if something is a yes or is a no. That can sound better than emotional authority, because in today's world, we're moving fast. The thing is with sacral authority, you don't have a lot of depth, right? It's just a yes, no. There's no yes, because, oh my goodness, and this and that and the other. And if there is, that's stuff that was made up in your brain. And that's fine. But just know that the authority itself does not have depth to it. Whereas that emotional wave, you're getting all of that information because you're waiting. It's almost like, okay, I'm going to geek out a little bit here, but if you ever did, like if you took calculus, or you learned how to integrate, right, in math, you integrate the area under the wave, right? And so there's a lot of stuff within that wave. You're getting all that information, you're getting all the depth if you have emotional authority. So there's totally an upside to that waiting that is necessary. And you don't get to decide your authority. It was decided when you were born. So you go with what you have. All right, so splenic authority is the third most common. I think it's like 8% of people or so. It's less than 10%. And for splenic, um, the thing with splenic is it's instantaneous, but it is not, you can't, it's not on demand. Like sacral is on demand. It's sort of like, hey, do you want pizza? No. How about Chinese? Yeah. Uh-huh, great. So that's on demand. You get an answer on demand. And sometimes with sacral, you don't. Sometimes it's like, I don't know. And then you reword the question, you can tweak it, and you generally get an answer on demand, yes or no. Splenic is not that way. Splenic is like the most primal, like the most primal part of your brain, right? It's like that same energy. It's that safety, survival. Is this good? Is this bad? And you don't get to ask. You just get the feeling. Like I have a friend and colleague who has splenic authority, and what she shared with me the other day was, yeah, it's strange and it can be inconvenient when I've made plans to go out and then I go to step out the door and my body is just like, like rooted and not going. And that's an extreme example, but it could be an example like where you just know that you need to cross the street and walk down the other side of the street when it's dark out and you're alone or whatever. These are examples, but it's like this, my well-being, it's well-being is maximized if I do this, and like your body is telling you. So that's the splenic authority. So I hope that that was helpful for those of you who may not have been acquainted with human design. And it'll be great if you find out yours. I know when I first learned about human design years back, several years back now, I wanted to know everybody's human design. My sister, my sons, my husband, my mother, my father. And it can be a little bit limiting because sometimes people don't know the minute that they were born. But if you do, that's a great thing. Okay, so this is the second part of the video, and I wanted to share a little bit about myself as a generator. I am working with 3 manifestors in First Line Secrets, and it's pretty special because manifestors, if you remember, are less than 10% of the population. So, 1 person in 10, and I'm working with 3 manifestors, and that's it. Three manifestors and a generator at the time of this recording is what's going on. And what I know and what I have observed and been experiencing now for months, especially months working with Christoph and Alexandra, is it doesn't take much for in terms of interaction with Alexandra or with Christoph or with both of them to really activate me. Like, there have been times when Alexandra has said something and I'm like, hang on a second. And Christoph too, hang on a second, have to write that down so I don't forget. Were we recording this? What time is it so I can go back? And it's amazing. And they're like, what? What did I even say? I don't know. But it's like their impact, I feel it so much. And before I knew about human design, okay, like, so if I were working with either of them, right, uh, back in 2019, before the pandemic, before I knew about human design, I would be telling myself a story like, wow, they are amazing. And I'm not that amazing. What do I need to study so that I know as much or whatever, so that I can drop those gold, pieces of gold or whatever? I would be making stuff up about how I didn't have what they had, or I was somehow maybe inferior. And part of that, a big part of that, is my own conditioning, right? But that's what I would have done. But now, understanding what I understand about human design and the general dynamics of the types, and I also know that they are manifestors who are showing up in the world as manifestors. They are conscious manifestors. I am now a conscious generator. I am in response. So it's actually a beautiful pairing for many reasons, but I can be in response to them. They can see their impact through me, which, they're not trying to have an impact when we're having a discussion. They're not specifically trying. We're just talking, and then something will just hit me and impact me, and I will respond to that, let them know. It's just this beautiful, beautiful energetic dynamic. And the other thing I want to say is that most of us in the world, most humans in the world, are not operating as consciously as that, as maybe they don't know their human design, and whether they do or they don't, it doesn't almost matter, because we're all very deeply conditioned. And when we operate using our strategy and our authority, that is, it's one way. It's not the way, okay? But it is an excellent way to decondition. It's an excellent way to come back to who you are, who you always have been, instead of these sort of false beliefs and limiting ways that you've been behaving unconsciously because of the conditioning that you received, the energetic conditioning you received in the past. So, okay, there is one other thing I want to say, and that is that children, okay, children in general are far, far less conditioned than adults. They haven't had all the time to be conditioned. The younger the child, in general, the younger the child, the less conditioned they are, because it's closer to the time when they popped out and they were, very close to source at that time before they were born. And this is to say that our children, our young children, the young children have a lot to teach us. And, I'm sure that many of the world religions have similar similar threads, similar messages, but I do know from a past life, I do know that in the Bible, it talks about Jesus saying, you need to make yourself like a little child. Let the little children come to me, kind of thing. And it's this being, pure in your energetic essence. And so I share that, hoping that it lands with you to maybe, uh, maybe keep that in mind when you are around little children. And we all know that I don't know. I don't know. I shouldn't say we all know. Maybe we all don't know, but so many times when I'm near little children, it's like they are so pure. They are so mischievous and curious and playful and kind and loving, and um, they're more in touch with their energetic anatomy. They're more in touch with their human design. So that's what I wanted to leave you with today. And I welcome all of your comments. Please tell me if you know your human design. What is it? What's your authority? What's your design? Have you started playing with it yet? Would love to hear from you. And if you are interested in increasing your consciousness, there's all kinds of ways. We have the key of diet. We have lots of do it at your own pace. We also have ways to um, work with us live, work with us privately as well. So check out the description for all the latest, greatest. And until next time.